Hello everyone. In this video we are going to discuss on development economics. Before going to development economics, we should know what is development and how it is related to economics. And also we are discussing concept and definitions and characteristics of development. So here development is a process that creates growth, progress, positive change or the addition of physical, economic, environmental, social and demographic components. The identification of these traps enables relating to political, economic, social conditions in a country in an attempt to advance development. So the international agenda began to focus on development beginning in the second half of the 20th century. And understanding developed that economic growth did not necessarily lead to a rise in the level of or the quality of life for populations all over the world. There was a need to place an emphasis on specific policies that would channel resources and enable social and economic mobility for various layers of the population. Through the years, professionals and various researchers described a number of definitions and emphasis for the term development. So here, one of the great economists, prominent economist, Amartya Sen, for example, developed the capability approach, which defined development as a tool enabling people to reach the highest level of their ability through granting freedom of action. That is, freedom of economic, social and family actions, etc. So this approach became a basis for the measurement of development by the Human Development Index, which was developed by the UN Development Program in 1990s. Martha Nussbaum also developed the abilities approach in the field of gender and emphasized the empowerment of women as a development tool. So that is why the term development does not refer to one single phenomenon or activity, nor it mean a general process of social change. So all societies, rural and urban, are changing all the time. So this change affects, for example, the society's norms and values, its institutions, its methods of production, in the attitudes of its people and the way in which it distributes the resources. So a rural society's people customs and practices are never static, but are continuously evolving into new and different forms. So there are different theories which seek to explain this process of social change, now as evolution, as a cultural adaptation, or even as a resolution of conflicting interest. And examples of each explanations can be found in different parts of the world. So development is more closely associated with some forms of action or intervention to influence the entire process of social change. So that is why it is a dynamic development concept which suggests a change in one or more movement away from or a previous situation. So all societies are changing and rural extension attempts to certain aspects of society in order to influence the nature and speed of the change. So here the meaning of development says, development is basically an economic concept that have positive connotations. It involves the applications of certain economic and technical measures to utilize available resources to instigate economic growth and improve people's quality of life. So in the 1950s and 1960s, development was largely referred to as economic growth, which meant quantitative rather than qualitative change in the economic performance. So in the view of fragmentation of social sciences and the theoretical gap existent in the distinct development approaches, three basic principles of commonly attributed. And they are, we can see efficiency, equity, and liberty. So that is why basically development is growth plus change or transformation. It is both qualitative and quantitative at the same time. So development means is nothing but improvement in countries' economic and social conditions. More specifically, it refers to improvements in way of managing an area's natural and human resources. So in order to create wealth and improve people's lives, the word that is why development is widely used to refer to a specified state of advancement or growth. So it could be used to describe a new and advanced idea or a product or an event for constitutes a new stage under changing circumstances. So here, generally, the term development describes good change. Now, here we have to see, but how do you tell which change is good? So in this regard, researchers explain three ways that the term development is used. The first one is development as a vision. So here the term is used to describe how desirable a society or a region is, possibly which regard to what it can become. Next is development as a historical process. So this refers to social change that occurs over extended periods of time due to inevitable processes. For instance, it is widely believed that both communism and capitalism are an inevitable outcome of progress. So next one is development as action. Here it refers to what? To deliberate actions to change things for the better, as with providing aid to alleviate hunger or removal of hunger. So there are few of definitions by Merriam-Webster's. You may know it is the oldest dictionary of US, which came into existence from 1831, and the main pillar of this is George and Charles Merriam. According to that, the act or process of growing or causing something to grow or become larger or more advanced. So other definition like Pearson, we know Canadian politician and Prime Minister of Canada from 1963 to 68. Here it explains development involves an improvement qualitative, quantitative or both in the use of available resources. Also we have Professor Mairer and Baldwin. So here the explanation is like economic development is a process whereby economy's real national income increases over a period of time. So according to the United Nations, good indicators of national achievement should evaluate human development with regards to life expectancy, adult literacy, access to all three levels of education, that is primary, secondary and higher, and average income. So the UN considers human development as all encompassing component that incorporates multiple elements of an individual well-being, from their health status and to their economic and political freedom. So we have certain characteristics of this development. There are basic two important characteristics. They are, first one, it is a continuous process, because as I told you in the concept, it is a dynamic and it is also the continuous process. The process of growth and development continues from the moment of conception until the individual reaches maturity. So it takes place at a slow but regular pace rather than by leaps and bounds. So development of both physical, mental traits, continues gradually until these traits reach their maximum growth. Also, we have the second characteristics that development is affected by many factors. So, human growth and development is a very complex phenomenon. So, it is affected by a number of factors. And these factors are intelligence, physical health, sex, nutrition, glands of internal secretion, position in the family, then social status of the family, and the general environment at the different stages in varying degrees. So there is interrelationship between growth, development, and reproduction in the maintenance of life. So all three biological processes take place depending on others. So early production affects the growth and development of an individual. So these are the characteristics of development.